Welcome to another episode of Home Projects with Carpenter. I'm Andy Carpenter, and I'm going to be doing some lighting, that string lighting everybody seems to like these days. I wanted to add some to my backyard. Sometimes we do some outdoor entertaining out here, and so I'm going to put some of those string lights. They're going to go from the wall behind the camera, and it's going to attach to a string that's in between those two trees. So I'm going to have one main cable, and then I've got two runs of the 50 foot, or I think it's like 48 feet. So I've got just under 100 feet of string lights. So it'll be 24 on one, 24 on the other. So it'll go back and forth, back and forth. That's the idea. The trees are not exactly lined up with the house. So this side's going to be a little bit longer than this side. So I got about 22 feet on this side and about 15 feet on the other. So I think it'll work out. I installed a GFI on a switch in another video, so you can check that out. I'll put the link down on the bottom. That's a GFI on the outside that's attached to a switch. So that's a different video. This one I'm going to install the lights themselves, and then I'll plug into that receptacle that I installed previously. Okay, so since these are string lights, they don't have to be perfectly level or anything like that. I'm just going to have a cable that's going from one tree to the other, and that's going to be my main support on this side. And then I'm going to run the other strings, the other cables across and attach with S-clips along to them. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of aligning it more or less, kind of eyeballing from about here to there. So. Using the back of one of my socket wrenches, give myself a little bit more torque. Okay, there we go. That'll be good. Line that thing up. And then let's get torquing on this. All right, so there's my main cable, which is going from one tree all the way over, stretched across about 15 feet or so, maybe about 20 feet, to the other tree there. So that's the side that has a carabiner on it. So since I'm putting in 4 runs, I put the 2 endpoints on, one over here, one over here, kind of to the sides of the door. They're not exactly squared up, but I'm gonna have those are the 2 ends. So I have 2 more. So I want 3 equal spaces with 4 runs. So I measure from one side to the other as 150 inches. So divide by 3, you get 50-inch segments. So I'll put 50 inches, another one, 50 inches, another one, that'll be another 50. So that's how I'm getting my spacing. All right, so I've got my 4 lines connected up, like a big rodeo right here, lassoing like, yeah. But I got these things lined up to the 4 places up on my header. They're about 45, 50 inches apart on the header, the 4 lines, and then I'm gonna string those. So they just had a carabiner on one side, and I just attached them to the hooks I installed there. And then up above, I've got my line
going right here. And then I'm just gonna thread those over. What I did was I did a 3-foot spacing, and then a 4, and then a 4, and then a 4, and then another 3-foot spacing over on the tree side. And I think that'll be kind of a nice little ambiance that'll space everything out kind of geometrically. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're gonna see how this goes. I've got these little saddles here that I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is attach it like this through, put the little U-shaped side. I'll bring the camera up here so you can see what it actually looks like. Jeez. Before I get the light, so that way I can kind of fish these through before it gets too like that. And that'll be one side. So I'm not going to tighten them all the way down because I'm going to get all of them and then I'll tighten them all at the same time. I think that'll be the best way to do that. This side here, so this is the main line that's running over. Then I've got the little U-shaped saddle going over. This is the line that's from over on the other side. So it's pretty taut right now. I think this is going to work out real nice. And then it comes over right to here, and then I can pull this thing through, and then I'll tighten all these guys up once I get all 4 of them on, and then I'll trim these. All right, so here's the finished product with the lines up, and I've got all 4 of them strung out. Looks pretty nice and taut. I think it turned out really nice. So here's like one of the finished products of the what do you call these, shackles or saddles or whatever. Here's into the tree. I'll trim all this stuff once I get the lights up, but I want to at least get a shot of it as right after I put it up.
Okay, so here's one of the final connections at the header. This has the saddle that's threaded over that double piece of nylon, and you can see the carabiner, which is attached to the eye hook on the header itself. All right, so this is what it looks like as the string lights are attached to the cables themselves. I use these little S hooks. Those S hooks are 1.5-inch S hooks that I threaded over. There's one for every light, so for each string of lights there are 24 of these. So you need to make sure you pick up one. I actually had to crimp each one of them so they don't fall off when it's when you have the wind blowing them around. So they stay on pretty good. So I think that's a pretty good configuration, and it keeps them nice and taut. So here's the final product with the lights strung out at nighttime. I think they look really nice. Adds a lot of ambiance to it. We also have a nice shot from the other angle where you can see our fire pit in the background, and I think they'll just be nice to sit out here under these nice lights. Thanks for joining. Catch us on the next video.